Hey there, my name's Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast.
The monkey stuck his head out of the bottom of the car?
Little Big Planet Sackboy.
He was found naked and injured next to a dumpster behind a Burger King. Julius Timothy Flock, born in 1924, died in 1998. He was an American stock car racer, two-time NASCAR Series champion. And we're not here to talk about Tim Flock exactly. We're here to talk about his co-pilot, because he did not drive alone, at least not all the time. He had a monkey that would drive in the car with him named Jocko Flocko. And it was a rhesus monkey. I'm relying on Matthew to correct me if I'm wrong on that.
I think it's a
It's Rhesus.
Yeah,
Rhesus.
yeah.
Is it a Reese's monkey like Will Arnett? Reese's.
I think it's just
No, it's not even like Reese's. Also, when you're saying the
think
like
it's just
the
Reese's.
peanut butter chocolate Hershey subsidiary company, do you say Reese's or Reese's?
Reese's.
Reese's?
Ooh,
Okay, because I've
what I
always said
say.
Reese's, and a lot of people do.
yeah. There's some drama, but okay. Monkey in a car.
Yeah, so monkey in a car. By the way, for audio listeners or people who don't know what a Reese's monkey is, you know the video of the monkey listening to Guts theme with the earbuds and he like tilts his head back and closes his eyes? That's the monkey we're talking about here.
He's a monkey.
So he brought Jocko Flocko, the monkey, with him on May 16th, 1953 at the Grand National win at Hickory Motor Speedway. Now, this story, if it was a Shakespearean play, it would be a tragedy because there's a reason that Jocko Flocko had a short-lived
Don't
experience.
Don't tell me the monkey died.
Oh, you know me and dead monkeys.
Can we talk about
Oh.
the Wikipedia article here though, where it just says Jocko Flocko became the only winning monkey ever. Like it
Yeah,
just says
man.
that. Like, did they attribute the win to the monkey? Was that
Well, kind of. He certainly paid the ultimate price. Maybe not the ultimate price, actually. He did not die. I thought that he did when I first read this story, but when I reviewed it today, I don't think he did. Basically, the monkey's in the car, right? And he's dinking around, he's touching things, he's curious like monkeys are, and he pulled a device that allows the driver to observe the right front tire. So it like opens up the bottom of the car, and at that moment, a pebble shot in like a bullet and
Oh
No,
no!
it hit
struck
the monkey?
Jocko Flocko. Yes.
Oh, poor guy.
And so he did not die. Monkey just starts freaking out because he effectively
Aw.
just got shot.
Poor
And
monkey.
Tim Flock had to pull over to let the monkey out of the car to like remove him because the monkey was going just ballistic, berzonk inside the cabin. And
Poor
you know, you
guy.
can't have a monkey freaking out during your race. It's just
so
talk about distracting the driver.
wait,
I mean,
wait.
to
The
be
monkey
fair-
stuck his head. The monkey stuck his head out of the bottom of the car. Is that what? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he had pulled the ultimate scalp burner.
That's what I'm
It
saying.
just-
Yeah, the monkey stuck his head out of the bottom of the car. All right, like this is something. Maybe this is why we don't have monkey in NASCAR. Like, to be real, like maybe.
Oh, I thought it was like near like the window. Oh my gosh, no!
It was
that's like
a thing to view the tire or the wheels. So he took the monkey out, and then it looks like he finished third, but he would have gotten first if he hadn't had to remove monkey from vehicle.
Wait a second. So, was obviously the monkey was not the one driving, although there are some apes that can drive, not monkeys.
Yeah.
No,
we
he was
should-
not the one driving.
I like how you
Aw.
do specify that there are other apes that can, and that I can vouch that is true. There are.
Yeah, have you ever seen the
orangutans.
going to the banana store video where the monkey
Yeah,
drive a golf
they
cart?
can. It is actually possible for them to drive, which I think is a beautiful thing. Sometimes I'm on the thruway and I'm like, man, I honestly wish that all of these cars were being driven by monkeys. I would feel safer.
There's some
No.
bad drivers out there.
Yeah, I
that
know.
I'm
There's
like,
there are some bad drivers and there are some smart monkeys. Okay, like I'm just gonna keep it real here. But no, this guy apparently couldn't drive because he did and then got shot by a pebble.
Yeah. Well, it's really Tim Flock's fault for running over that pebble. I mean, he should have.
Yeah.
He should have seen it.
Oh yeah,
coming.
I mean they should not have had a hatch that the monkey could just open up and see the tire. Like that's kind of a hazard.
To be fair, they shouldn't
too.
have exactly had a monkey in a car anyway.
Yeah.
Dude, we
Fair
just
point.
got done saying monkeys
point.
can drive sometimes better than people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
So
feel
maybe
like-
it was a better thing that he was in there.
Curiosity killed the monkey.
Thank you, Luke Gibbons.
Oh, No, I mean, yeah,
Um,
I guess we shouldn't have a monkey in a NASCAR race, but I don't know. I feel like we
Well,
could.
good publicity stunt. I'm seeing, according to this one source, no one really knows what happened to Jocko Flocko, and it's true. I can't find any information about him. I really don't know what his fate was. He was removed from the car, said he could finish the race, but then, like, what happened to him from there? You would think we'd have a follow up on that, but we have an actual quote from Flock, by the way,
Oh.
about this whole thing, him telling the story in an interview. Jocko got loose from his seat and stuck his head through the trap door, and he went berserk. Listen, it was hard enough to drive those heavy old cars back then under normal circumstances, but with a crazed monkey clawing at you at the same time, it becomes nearly impossible. I had to come into the pits and put him out, and ended up third. Pit stop cost me second place and $600 difference in a paycheck. Jocko was retired immediately.
Oh my gosh, that.
Wait, so
Love
how many
he's- I love
times?
how he phrases this as if it's the monkey's fault. Like,
Yeah.
as if, man, if only he hadn't done that. If only he
that
hadn't gotten hit in the
monkey-
eye with a pebble.
He says it like it was like, yeah, you got to get rid of that stupid monkey. But I really have a feeling that if he had the monkey with him 8 times and then that happened, it sounds like he probably retired him. Yeah, I can see the thought process there. It is in the best interest of the monkey.
In the most respectful way possible,
Do not put a
don't
monkey.
do something like this.
It was the 50s, guys. It was a different time.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You
too.
know, back then you could put a monkey in a car. You barely even had to have seatbelts.
Somehow I missed the fact it was the 50s. I somehow
Don't
was thinking
monkey
this
and
was like
drive.
the 90s, and I was like, okay, like,
No, this
Why
was
it was
in
ever-
1953 that this happened.
all right, you know,
So,
I mean,
real talk here. Is this animal abuse? I would argue
The monkey did it to himself, man.
Yeah, think about it. The monkey opened that handle that led to the
He didn't have
bottom
to
of
stick
the-
his head down there.
Yeah, he didn't have to stick his head under a moving vehicle.
See, on one hand, I am all for giving an animal an experience that it otherwise could never have, and its species as a whole has never had. That's cool. There's an issue of like, well, does the monkey want to be in the car? Maybe he's scared, maybe blah, blah, blah. But in this case, it sounds like Jocko Flocko was having a good time. I don't know for sure, but none of the wording implies that he was like scared or an
Yeah.
unwilling passenger. I don't know.
what are the odds that this specific monkey would write Shakespeare?
Ooh. Depends on how many monkeys
Hey.
you have writing Shakespeare. I mean,
Well,
or how
I
many
said
monkeys you have
earlier,
being
if his story
type
was a
raters.
Shakespearean legend or a play, you know, it would be a tragedy. So he's already got ties to Shakespeare. Hi, Jesse again. Hope you're enjoying the lore so far. Here's the thing, all the podcasts that I listen to and really enjoy, I didn't just stumble upon them. A friend recommended them to me, and that's how I started listening. So if you've got a friend who's a non-reptilian, they don't blink sideways or hiss or anything, send them this podcast. Just send them the link to this episode with no context, and we'll just see what happens. Thanks for being a part of what makes this podcast grow, and yeah, thanks for listening. Here's the rest of the episode. 1995 Greater Pittsburg bank robberies. On January 6th of 1995, MacArthur Wheeler and Clifton Earl Johnson robbed 2 Greater Pittsburg banks at gunpoint without attempting to disguise themselves. Instead,
they attempted to
big-
disguise themselves. I will say they did attempt.
but they did
that's-
so in a
yeah.
way that your brain is too small. I don't think you would get
Yeah,
it.
you need the true galaxy brain.
They covered their faces in lemon juice because, as everybody knows, that makes you invisible to security cameras. You know, they were ahead of the times.
Bro.
Johnson was arrested a few days later, and Wheeler was apprehended in April after being identified in several surveillance photographs.
As I was reading this, you know that like little Big Planet Sackboy gif where he's just like disgusted and like turning around and just like his mouth is open?
Yeah, okay, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the face that I was making through reading this for the first time. Like, there is stupid,
It's incredible, man.
and then there's this. Like, this isn't even stupid. This is like a whole nother layer.
Yeah, so people really used this to study the Dunning-Kruger effect. That's why it's so in there. I mean, it says, one of the first sentences of the article just says, you know, this directly inspired the research of the Dunning-Kruger effect, which describes...
And what is
that
the
people-
Dunning-Kruger effect? It
It is-
describes that people with little ability...
Yeah, little ability in a given field erroneously believe they excel in it. Basically, it is when dumb people think they are smart. But it's not so much like if you think you're smart, you're stupid. It's that bell curve where you have somebody and they think that they're like a huge expert in a certain field, when in reality they
Right.
just don't know anything about it. They just think that they are.
Is it like how kind of everybody believes that they're good at fighting? Like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
man, if
There's a
some guy broke
huge
in here, I'd go like,
Dunning-Kruger effect.
and I hit him with one of these, and in
Yeah.
reality, we'd all suck.
Everybody, yeah, it doesn't work like that. It's a real thing where like dumber people think they're smarter.
I want to go through the journey that got us here because we've talked a lot about the aftermath, but not about the the backstory. So they robbed the bank at gunpoint with a semi-automatic handgun in the afternoon at like 3 p.m. almost. They left together after obtaining about what would have been $10,000 today in today's money.
Big money. Yeah.
Then they robbed another bank, I think. Neither robber wore a mask. They had applied lemon juice to their faces. Now, according to Wheeler, Johnson, the other guy, had told him that lemon juice would make one invisible to security cameras, akin to how it functions as invisible ink. So Wheeler probably would have put on a mask if Johnson hadn't been like, nah, man, I've been thinking. I know how we can get away with this. Although initially skeptical, Wheeler had tested the method by covering his face with lemon juice and capturing an image of it on a Polaroid camera. What?
Okay.
He took a picture of himself.
Yeah,
he was missing from the resulting photograph. He trusted the method to be effective. Detectives think that it was either he had bad film, a maladjusted camera, or Wheeler had unintentionally pointed the camera away from his face.
I'm not compelled to believe that the lemon juice actually made him invisible.
To think that he literally... So he had enough brain cells to be like, this is fishy. We ought to at least test it. And even then...
How do you not know how to take a photo?
Yeah, dude, look at that.
Of yourself.
So he was arrested, and then when he was shown the photographs where they identified him, it says, yeah, he was shocked and exclaimed, "But I wore the lemon juice." Like, and apparently that just confused everybody. And they're like, dude, what? Like, what are you
saying?
Like,
So
Wow.
Here's the other question. Why? I mean, this is not even close to the dumbest thing this guy's doing here, but like never, if you are arrested, just straight up admit to the crime that you're doing. Like,
yeah,
well,
always
at this
lie.
point, we're beyond that. We're beyond
lie to the
lying.
police. Deep Lore Boys endorses fibbing federally.
Lies.
also, apparently, so they robbed a bank called Melon Bank wearing lemon juice.
Dude, they got that fruit ninja type thing going on.
Honestly,
Ninja.
Yeah.
He said that the lemon juice was burning his face and his eyes. He was having trouble seeing and had to squint. This is crazy.
like, how do you not? I mean,
Wow.
I get this was before the era of like selfies. It was like 96, 90. What was this?
Oh, you're right.
90.
If he had just worn camo, then it wouldn't have.
Oh,
Yeah,
duh.
he should have known.
Thank you, Kate, in the Discord.
It wasn't that they thought that like the camera just wouldn't read their face with the lemon juice on it or something, and like their faces would be blurred. It was literally that they thought they would be invisible on camera.
Like, okay, the idea of using lemon juice to turn yourself invisible. When you put invisible ink on a piece of paper, it doesn't turn the paper invisible. Okay? Like, why would it turn your face invisible? Like, it's so dumb that it's like brilliant. It's like so creative.
Yeah, there's multiple layers
Like-
of disbelief you have to wade through.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's admirable. It really truthfully is. I don't know what I would do. I wish I was there for like those courtroom meetings and like the sentencing and stuff. I wish I could have heard that judge and seen those people's reaction.
Yeah, what did their families
baffled.
think? What
Yeah.
did their friends think?
Like,
I'm
you
gonna
You
be
know
honest.
that if he ever got out of prison, he was getting bullied hardcore for that.
Yeah.
I honestly
Wow.
feel almost bad for these people because
Yeah, a
of
little
like
bit.
just how bullied they are. Like they have cemented themselves in human history as quite possibly the two dumbest individuals ever.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen Dumb and Dumber?
That's true.
But yeah, I do feel a little bad for clowning on them because they're real people, but they held up a bank with guns. Like they were. I don't know that they would have shot anybody and killed anybody. We can't know because they didn't, but they definitely made it seem that way.
Maybe he had a master plan and he knew that like if he did this, then we would talk about it in the future and we would know who he was. Like, we'd have no idea who MacArthur Wheeler ever was if it wasn't for him doing this. And he's like, I know how to get famous. I'm going to do something so bafflingly stupid. I'm going to get a whole paper at Cornell written about me.
But surely you can do that without getting locked up.
Nah, I think he was 2 steps ahead. All right.
I guess it worked.
Yeah, I think
that
he
was
knew,
his plan.
He knew what he had to do.
By the way, Matthew, if you're looking for something to do to cement yourself, I have heard that barbecue sauce makes you fireproof if you apply it to the skin. So, yeah.
Dude, tell that to Jackson. Jackson's a firefighter, bro. He needs a...
Oh, Jackson, yeah. Get some barbecue sauce. Stop running into buildings with all that heavy gear.
Yeah, all you need is
weighs
some
you
barbecue
down,
sauce,
cardio.
Just fine.
I think the best way to start on this particular piece of lore is to just read the first paragraph of the Wikipedia. Benjaman Kyle was an American man who had severe amnesia. On August 31st of 2004, he was found naked and injured without any possessions or identification next to a dumpster behind a Burger King in Georgia. That's a rough way to wake up, rough morning. But he couldn't remember anything. Between 2004 and 2015, neither he nor the authorities could determine his identity or background, despite searches that have included television publicity and various other methods. So basically, pre-2004, know nothing about this guy. Like, there are cases where people will, forget who they are. That's a mental condition that can happen, which is horrifying. But the weird thing is that no one else has any clue, and like no family, no previous friends, no like missing persons cases.
What? From what he remembered that he was born 10 years before Michael Jackson on the same day.
Yeah, so that's one thing he could remember.
He could remember that much, which is interesting.
Maybe worth noting, when he was found in the dumpster behind a Burger King, he was unconscious, naked, and sunburned. He had blunt force trauma to the skull and red ant bites on his body.
Oh.
But yeah, so they, got him up, and he was semi-conscious. They patched him up, kind of nursed him back to health. He couldn't recall his last name. He could remember that his first name was Benjamin, or he claimed that, but I guess eventually it was kind of proven that wasn't his first name. Upon seeing himself in the mirror for the first time, he was shocked because he was about 20 years older than he thought he was.
Oh.
It's not even the fact that people didn't know where he was for a few years. It seems to be that, like, nobody knows who this guy is.
He says he has memories of Indianapolis from when he was a kid. And he remembers, like just a few places and stuff in the area, but he doesn't remember any people. He says there are no names or faces that he remembers. He thinks that he might have had a few brothers, but he doesn't really know. He's completely clueless on who he was with or anything. He vaguely remembers the area and stuff.
And no one went looking for him.
Yeah, nobody knew who he was.
Which has got to be such a sad feeling. Wow, I'm missing. I don't know who I am, and nobody is coming for me.
He could not get a job because he was unable to remember his full social security number. I feel like in this case, that's just stupid. But no, he was homeless for many years after he was found, apparently, because he couldn't get a job because of his social security number.
He, I guess, did yard work for one of the nurses that was involved in his, getting back on his feet. Did yard work for them, about $100 a month. He realized that he still remembered how to drive a car, which is interesting.
If you've driven a car before, or like if you've done things that require muscle memory enough times, even if you completely forget, it will come like naturally.
Yeah, eventually
to you.
You kind of just get
right.
Like more naturally to you than it would be if you were actually learning it for the first time.
Okay, no, so we do have a little bit more explanation of what happened, more or less. In 2016, they found who he actually was. He was born in Indiana and raised there. In 1976, his family filed a missing person report for him. And it looks like he simply got up one day, completely cut ties with all of them, left all of his stuff at home, and drove away. No
in 76?
explanation. In 1976, he just got up and left. He didn't take anything with him, nothing.
Wait, where is this? Is this on the wiki?
It's on the wiki, under the identification tab. It looks like he cut ties with his family and abandoned his possessions. Oh no, including his car. He got rid of that too. So his family filed a missing persons report, and police, I guess, discovered that he had moved to Colorado. He'd moved out to Boulder. Okay. on a whim with a coworker. A reporter found some social security records of him working in various jobs until 1983, after which no records could be found for the remaining period of more than 20 years before his discovery in 2004. So
20 years of just
yeah,
nothing.
the whole
And if you
90s.
end up in a dumpster, is that like a do you get caught up in like organized crime or something? But why
I am
wouldn't they kill
thinking that
you?
this
I
guy
don't
was
know.
caught up in something and he was definitely like beaten and then like
Yeah.
basically left for dead is my
That's
guess.
what I'm
and
worried
then-
about, because if he moved out to Colorado on a whim, none of his family knew where he was, and he was just like, moving halfway across the country with a coworker on a whim sounds irresponsible at best. And so that tells me that he probably was just, impulsive at best. It's clear that there was something going on there. But then again, I feel like if he was really caught up in a lot of bad stuff, like, I feel like there should be something, like if it was like drug related or something, there should be signs
Yeah.
of that. And like, he doesn't look, he's old, but if you look at images and stuff, he doesn't look like he's like old and has really been through it. Like
No, he actually looks like surprisingly
he looks very clean and well kempt and stuff. And like, if it was any sort of anything like that, you would probably find traces of it. There would be something. Somebody would be looking for him still.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No, like you can typically see the effects of like drugs or just like a constant life of abusive behaviors on like someone's face and stuff, and he doesn't really show the immediate effects of that. Again, not always. There's definitely exceptions, but like a photo from him taken in 2010, like he looks healthy.
And he didn't, I know that like, obviously if you forget the last 20 years of your life, including who you are, your personality is bound to change a little bit, but he seems to come out and be like a pretty decent guy and everybody likes him. And he seems responsible. Like he tries to get jobs and work for money and stuff, which is hard without having an identity. So he doesn't come out being a really like wild character.
He seems like a regular guy.
He doesn't come out selfish or conniving or manipulative.
No, I mean,
at least from what I'm reading on Wikipedia, I haven't met the guy, but
something. I mean, it would add up with him saying that he looks 20 years older than he thought he was, given that he disappeared in 83 and was found in 2004. What happened in 1983? What happened there that he got amnesia? Because if he stopped working in 83, turned up 21 years later, and then immediately was like, wow, I thought I was 20 years younger. Like, that's 20 years of nothing. Like, and he doesn't remember things before that too. Like, what was he doing? Like, real.
And I guess his fingerprints are not in the FBI's National Crime Information Center database of offenders, because that was one of the things they tried. So he wasn't like charged, I think is what that means. Like he's not in the database.
Okay, important lore though here. Firstly, remember he was found in Georgia, even though he was last found in Colorado. Like before that, so nobody, including him, knows how he wound up in Georgia. However, he clearly wasn't just like abducted by aliens or something, because he did know about 9/11. So being found in 2004.
Yeah, he
was aware of
9/11.
They also said that he could describe in intense detail the inner workings of ovens, and that he definitely had kitchen experience during some of the time that he was missing.
Yeah, because it says he has detailed knowledge of restaurant management and food preparation equipment.
He could recall presidents of the United States from the 20th century. And by that, we mean 1900s, but nothing from 2000 on.
So the only way they were able to find out any sort of anything, they did DNA testing in 2015. I guess they discovered that his real name is William Burgess Powell.
Mm-hmm.
He was born August 29th, 1948, because they were able to find his social security number. But even at that, it looks like it took him a while.
Yeah, so it sounds like he figured out like who he was, right? Like his real name, his DNA and stuff, but it still doesn't really link to any notable family that are like, oh my goodness, we've been for 30 years, we've been looking for you.
That's what I'm confused about, though, is because it says on the Wikipedia article that they filed a missing persons report in 1976. So if they found the report, surely they'd be able to find the family that filed it. Right?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I think they have.
But are they all dead? Did they have?
I don't know.
Just been, I guess it's been like 50 years, but like.
Okay. He did not choose to reveal it publicly to protect his family members.
Okay.
So it does look like he was able to find his family, but it doesn't look like he's living with them at all, or even that his family is still alive. It's just that he was able to find out which, like, I mean, obviously they found out where he was from. It doesn't seem like he really wants to talk to interviewers about it. The big question that I have for finding this person is, who did he move out to Boulder, Colorado with, and why did he then leave Boulder, Colorado? Because like that's already like a gap. Like depending on that, you can start to figure out at least where he began his journey to Burger King in 2004. But that's
His
not
journey to Burger King.
Yes. the pilgrimage.
He's like, I'm gonna go to Burger King to be reborn.
Yes. Like
Freaking fire ants, get off me.
it takes
Biting my
20
sunburn.
years.
Yeah.
Finally, dude.
Fox in our Discord left a really good comment a few minutes ago. Wonder if this has anything to do with dissociative identity disorder, his reason for leaving. Maybe it got triggered and that's why he just left like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
a person with this. And again, we're not psychologists, so we cannot.
I am.
I mean, we cannot
I'm
diagnose this
an
person.
I am on r/psychology.
They do have separate memories for each personality, or they can. The thing though is like, how would it have been a 20-year of one personality and then 20 years back? Like that doesn't make sense. There's definitely some sort of, what I would want to say is probably some sort of abuse. Most people do not just like take off and leave. There's either some sort of abuse or mental health.
Yeah,
is
that's
my
what I'm
guess.
saying. There's almost certainly
Oh, there's foul play.
Yeah, certainly nobody is going to, in the state that he was found, people almost certainly are not going to bring that state upon themselves. It's clear that he was not treated right. That's abundantly clear.
Either way, like any way you slice it, this is a really sad story. And I mean, I can't tell. I get the impression that he's doing a lot better and that life has definitely gone uphill.
I hope so.
But it's got to be really rough. I mean, this reminds me of how Jackson joined the podcast. It was just going to be me and Matthew, and then we found Jackson in a Waffle House dumpster. And he couldn't remember anything, but we brought him on and we're like, hey, we need a third guy. Do you want to join the podcast? And
yes,
yeah,
that is true.
That. He just talked about cereal for a few hours, actually.
For a few hours. And we were like, this guy would be great.
We're like, this guy, we got to keep him.
Hey again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. If you did, leave a like, leave a review, subscribe for more episodes, share it with a friend. You know the stuff. Thanks for listening, and I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm going to go post that one on twitter.com.